Mr. C. Radhakrishnan, born on 15th February 1939 in Kerala state of India, is a multifaceted personality with his contribution as a writer, physicist, researcher, film director, editor and columnist in Malayalam language from Kerala state of India. His works have been translated into various Indian and foreign languages.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give our guest of honor, Sir Sri C. Radhakrishnan, a loud round of applause. Thank you. Karimka, can we have the mic, please, for sir? Hearty welcome to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Our chief guest, the scientist and the famous novelist, Mr. Radhakrishnan, our guest of honor, Major Saif Al-Kaili.
Good evening and welcome, everybody. I salute the representatives of the government, industrial magnates, dear parents, teachers, and dear children. I'm extremely happy to be here today. This is the real euphony leading to symphony and later to harmony. This is what education should do. In an era when dark forces are trying to divide humanity into inimical factions and warring groups, art, children, and their performance cross all barriers of religion, caste, nationality, and any other difference. This is the God-sent remedy for all divisiveness, so that harmony is obtained and realized amidst mankind, at least in the next generation all over the world. This assembly indicates that such a harmony is possible. I've been part of some of the so-called art melas, Kalavalsavas back in Kerala and some parts of India. But this cross-section of people, presenting this cross-section of performances by our tiny tots and grown-ups, and this dedication of students and children together and teachers is something which I have not been able to see. So I am happy that I am here this evening with you, as everybody is. When Krishna Priya wanted me to come over, I thought it was going to be just another gathering, another art performance of small children. I am really surprised. It surpasses all my estimates and expectations, giving me the very, very dear, very lovely experience of children coming out, expressing themselves in the open. What we have had is an expression of talent. And talent is the thing that flowers into human achievements, you know. What happens when talent is fostered by really good administrators and again cultivated by really able teachers is seen as wonders happening in the world. It will send Hasa al-Mansouri into space from a region which is supposed to be a desert. It's the 42nd country in the world that sends an astronaut into space. And this gentleman, he was a small child, like any one of these small children that we have seen here and who we have been in our childhood, being brought up in a small suburb of Abu Dhabi, getting trained as an aviation engineer, becoming a fighter pilot, and then getting trained to go into outer space. You can imagine the amount of imagination the administrators, his teachers, and those who taught him, and his own talent played in bringing out this particular achievement. He spent 7 days in space after about 150 exercises and about trying to overcome 9 G forces. You know what a G force is? is the weight of our body on earth. When the body is pressed with 9 times its own weight, you are able to withstand it, not by will alone, but by training, by determination, by a spirit that takes you out into space. The same thing happens among us in the area of art and science everywhere. Actually, some time back, I got this revelation back from an assembly of children way back in Kochi when I was talking to school children. I asked them whether any one of them had gone out into space on a spacecraft. There was silence. Nobody said anything. After a while, I repeated the question, and the silence prevailed. Then after some time, when I asked the question the third time, a small, tiny tot way in the back, he raised his hand. So I asked him which was the spacecraft he had traveled on. He said, "This Earth, uncle." Then everybody else began to say, yeah, I too went. I said, no. I called the boy onto stage and asked him, what do you mean by saying this? He said, Earth is a satellite. It's actually a small satellite when considered along with the sun, the other particular large stars in the universe, and galaxies and clusters of galaxies. 3/5 of the Earth's surface is covered by water. Half of the left land is covered by ice-clad mountains and camps and poles. The remaining half of the world is covered by deserts and marshlands. What is left for human beings and other species to live on is the rest of the land. So, if you are not in harmony, you will not be able to survive here. Like, if you are not in harmony in a satellite, in a space station, you cannot survive. Everyone has a given job, everyone has a given talent, a responsibility, and everyone has to be different, but everyone has to be cooperating in harmony always, just like in an orchestra where every instrument plays the tune according to the strict formation of musical composition and then creates harmony. If any instrument goes out of gear, out of tune, you have what is called a cacophony, and it's not a harmony. Same way, anybody on earth, anyone going astray, anyone out of tune, anyone feeling not belonging, creates the disharmony that creates a very sad situation, like when a particular cell in a human body goes totally out of tune and becomes a cancerous cell. So art is something that cements us together to create the harmony, and this art is taught by, not only art, every science, every technology is taught by very, very devoted teachers. You saw the teachers, moving around with the children, how sincere, how devoted, how loving they were in arranging the children, helping them, always being on their side in whatever situation they were. So that is dedication by teachers. And what does a teacher do in society? That's another question. When you have a euphony system of education for the future, what do you mean by that? I can easily visualize what is meant by that. What does a teacher do? To answer the question, probably we will have to answer the question, what makes a baby spider, for instance, different from a human baby? Hope someone at least might have seen a baby spider. What difference it has from a human baby? Baby spider is a very tiny thing. Human baby is something bigger, yes, right. The baby spider has 8 legs, but a human baby has about only 2. The baby spider is very uncouth, but the human baby is excellently beautiful. But the main important biological difference is this, that the baby spider after a while from hatching, it starts building its own net, as if it has been taught while it was being born. The software is implanted in the baby right from the beginning without the necessity of the baby being sent to a polytechnic. Same way, a sparrow is taught in virtue how to build a net. The peacock is taught how to dance. The cuckoo is taught how to sing. Nobody teaches these beings, but human baby, a child. What software has it while it's born? It has no software at all. It's totally blank. Then how do we say that the human baby child is cast in the best mold possible? It is cast, of course, in the best mold possible because it has immense hardware where any amount of software can be implanted. But the problem is every software has to be implanted. And the implanter is whom we call the teacher. And what does the teacher do? The teacher does not implant the software he or she has imbibed. The teacher, by his own observation, experimentation, thinking, updates the software and implants that in the next generation. So human society goes on progressing generation by generation, and we have come to this stage today. Whereas the spider weaves the net. Its ancestors weaved 50 million years ago, and the sparrow still building the net that its ancestors built 50 million years back. So the only person responsible for the progress of man, making the world that it is today, is the teacher. And it is a teacher whom we have to be respecting all the time in all the ways we can. So when I stand here, naturally, I remember all my teachers who helped me become what I have become. I'm sure every child who performed here today will be, when he grows up, thinking on the same lines, thanking their own teachers. So when I said, Krishnapriya, look, should I come? And when she said, please, uncle, he is my niece-in-law, and he is a very proud possession of our family. She had expressed her talents long back as a child, and she was a mini-screen actor and composer, also a very well talented cook, if you probably don't know it. Oh, blessed woman, she has been in the field of education in here, and I wish her the best of luck, and I wish all the effort that is being made to go as high as possible and create a further harmonious atmosphere among the minds of children here so that they become very, very able-bodied, very talented, very gifted performers in the world, cementing the world tomorrow to make it more livable, happy, and harmonious. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Luxurious promises of our own India Social and Cultural Center.